Alright, so we're back with another video, and in this video we're gonna basically go over, I believe it's about 7 reasons of why owner-operators fail. They just fail, they go bankrupt, they're losing everything, and they wind up back being company drivers, or they just totally get out of the industry, right? Something just told me to make this video this week. I know I have a couple videos about basically the same subject on my channel already, but I just keep running into owner-operators, man, whether they're leasing on to us, whether they're getting consultations from me with the school group, or they just an hourly consultation, or, you know, I just have just conversations with them, right? And I'm seeing this, it's like a trend. It's like you can't get away from it, right? And it's not just new owner-operators. I thought, you know, at one time I was like, oh, you know, it's just like the new owner-operators, right? But yet, man, these are owner-operators that actually been in the business a while and struggling, but, you know, because of their costs, their overhead costs is just so low, and I don't know, you know, they got good credit and they're able to like get good credit cards to get themselves out of a jam. Sorry for the noise with the cars, but it's a beautiful day outside, so I just wanted to be outside. But anyway, they just stay in the business, right? They're able to stay in the business, and they don't understand that they're in so much jeopardy. One wrong move, they would be out of the business. Kind of like the economy right now, right? It's kind of like, you know, everybody's like, oh, we're going into a recession, even though we're already in one, but that's another conversation for a different day. So if you're an owner-operator, okay, especially if you're a new owner-operator, all right, you want to watch and listen to this entire video. Do not skip. If you want to speed it up, if I'm rambling or whatever, cool, do that. Put it on, you know, hit the little gear button on a YouTube video and just make it go to 1.7 or 2.0 or whatever it is. You can speed it up. But get the whole video. I'm going to go into a lot. I'm going to give you some real game. I promise you it works because I've done this. I do it now. You know, I've done the mistakes and it hurt me, and I correct these mistakes, and it made things a lot better for me. A lot better for me, right? For those of you that don't know me, my name is Marco Perkins. I'm an owner of a smaller fleet. Don't know if I really want to make it a big fleet anymore, just because my certain priorities and things has changed since I've been in the business. I've been doing this almost 20 years now, and I love what I do, and I've went bankrupt 2 times. I would never say I lost everything. I might have lost 90% of things, but who cares about stuff when you still have family and people that love you, and you still have life and all that, right? So I didn't lose everything, but I lost a lot, right? And it was very painful, very painful. It was very painful to go from making, you know, anywhere from 100 to 200,000 a month, sometimes more in 1 month. And then I have a picture, maybe I'll post it or up here somewhere, that one day I was so broke, man. I was doing so bad. I can only put $5.46 or 47 cents in the gas tank. I tell a story all the time to people that I know, and it hurt me. It hurt me so bad to go from making anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 a month to I can only put $5.47 in the gas tank. And I sat there at the pump and I was trying to figure out, where could I drive with $5.46 in the gas tank, right? And I had my children at the time, 2 of my kids. It was at the house, my daughters. And at this time, I kind of basically, you know, like single, you know, I wasn't married. So, you know, I had my children and I had to feed them, and we basically just kept eating like red beans and stuff, right? Make it stretch. And it was painful. You know, my baby girl, she wanted her cousins to come over, and she was like, Daddy, I want to do this, and can we do that? And can, you know, and she's just known me from always having it. And whatever she asked for, I was able to do it. And all that came to a end because of multiple reasons. I'm not going to get all into that right now. Go back and watch my videos, and you'll hear a lot of my stories. But basically, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. It was because of nothing else. Now, outside factors was definitely a thing. You know, the economy was going into the toilet, and I was dealing with all kind of stuff, no difference than everybody else in the economy. And guess what? When everybody else dealt with it in the economy, some people didn't go bankrupt, but I did, right? So this is why I make these videos, and this is why I'm so passionate about making these videos, is because I don't want owner operators to go through that feeling, especially new owner operators. Because when I was new, I had friends and we was just trying to figure it out. They wasn't successful at being owner operators yet. So I didn't have no one to talk to. YouTube wasn't a thing like that. And if it was, I didn't know about it, right? I didn't have no mentorship. I just had to figure it out. Me and my friends, we just had to figure it out. It was like, hey, pull a load, make some money. And that's kind of was it. If you had enough money to stack up and pay your bills and also keep the truck running per se, then it seemed like we were successful. That's all we really knew. It's like, hey, go make some money. That's it. We just kind of followed everybody else. They say, oh, let's get 3,000 miles. Cool, we get 3,000 miles. If we said something different, $2 or $4, we're just trying to figure it out, right? I was young at the time, 18, 19 years old. But listen, I go on and on and on about this because I see so many brothers that get in the game, sisters too. I don't know many. I've actually never counseled or like a female owner operator as of yet. So I can only speak from my experience. But male entrepreneurs that's in the trucking space, that's owner operators, I talk to them all the time. And so many of them are just going through it or went through it, right? And I'm not just talking to the guys that has one truck. I'm talking to guys that has multiple trucks. I'm talking about multiple trucks, all right? Because I know some, and I have multiple trucks myself. And guess what? These same things happens whether you have one truck or multiple trucks. But with that being said, let's get straight into the video. All right, so basically, like I said, 80%, you can Google this, look it up, ask ChatGPT like I do, and you will see that 80% or more owner operators, especially new owner operators, within the first 1 to 3 years, they go completely out of business. And there is no number on that, whether you have one truck or 10 trucks or 30 trucks, or you make 10,000 a month or 100,000 a month or 200-300, it doesn't matter. You're running a business, right? And a lot of people don't really know that those stats, so they approach the business not understanding that only 5 to 10% of owner operators or small fleet owners will actually make it, right? Period. They would actually just make it. You get what I'm saying? So if you're an operator, you definitely want to watch this video all the way through to the end. And specifically, if you're a flatbed, like an open deck, flatbed, RGN, step deck, lowboy, any of these, and you're over the road or regional or even local, right? And you're running a spot market freight and, or some other spot market freight, definitely watch the video to the end. Remember, to the end, all the way. And I'm not telling you that for analytics or nothing like that. I'm saying don't miss anything. And because at the end, I'm going to give you some things to help you fix these problems if you have some of these problems right here. All right. So let's get into step one. All right. Reason one. Reason one is there is no plan. Right. Some people might say, oh, there's no business plan. Now, I'm not big on, like, hey, sit down and write a actual business plan. I've done it. It's not a big deal if you don't do it, but I will say this. You do need to jot something down about your vision and what do you really want to do, right? What is your plan to execute, right? If you don't have a plan, you don't have a vision, then you don't know what to execute on. You're just going to be all over the place, right? Or you're going to get RGN, or you're going to get a flatbed, or you're going to get a step deck, right? Or you're going to run over the road, or you're going to run regional, or you're going to run local, right? Are you going to, do this for the next 2 to 5 years? Are you going to do this for the next 5 to 10 years? Or are you going to do this forever, right? Are you going to make this a family business? Or is this something just for you? Or are you going to do this for the next 10 years and then you're going to invest in real estate and you're going to pivot? Whatever, right? It's so many ways that you can go about this, but you need to kind of figure out, you need to have some type of plan, right? You need to have a vision. Why are you doing this? What are you doing this for? And you need to make a plan about it. You get what I'm saying? And you need to always, at least once a week, read this plan, right? You can read it every day. That's even better, right? To remind you, okay, when things get hard, when a new opportunity or what you think is a new opportunity comes, you're going to stay focused. Once again, when things get hard, you can remind yourself, why are you doing these things? And you will stay focused and you're going to remind yourself, okay, I'm doing this because I want to buy my family a house. I'm doing this because I want to be free of the day-to-day jobs and not have a boss. I'm doing this because I want to build a big business, a big trucking company. I'm doing this because I want to travel the world, me and my wife, because they might have brothers or sisters that want to travel with their family, and they do it in the truck, right? So many reasons on doing this. You get what I'm saying? I want to do this to build a family business. Whatever your reason is, right? You want to write that down. The Bible tells us about writing the vision down. So write it down, right? Jot it in your phone, write it on a piece of paper. I would think that it's better to write it on a piece of paper, but do that, right? So that's the number one reason. Number two reason is this: not being clear and possibly picking the wrong trailer, going into the wrong niche, right? You don't want to do that because, and let me give you an example of what I mean about picking the wrong trailer, going into the wrong niche, right? Because it's more so about the type of trailer than anything when it comes down to picking the niche than anything else. Dry-van trailer, flatbed trailer, two totally different things. Two totally different industries. You run those trucks two totally different. You got the same truck, but it's different trailers, right? So I'm gonna call out a common mistake, a common thing that a lot of owner-operators do, new and old. And what they do is they pick a trailer or a niche solely, meaning only, based off of the excitement and what's vibing and what's popping for social media and YouTube. Like what online is saying, right? Online is saying that specific niche or trailer is making all the money, then they're gonna go with that, right? Not really no research, not really no real deep dive. They don't even understand what it takes to get in that industry or even be successful in that industry, right? When they see these other people being successful in it, they just jump all in, right? So they'll pick a RGN trailer, not understanding that, guess what? Totally different ball game. And they need to run this trailer a totally different way than any other trailer to constantly make money. They'll get a flatbed or a step deck and they will get into this niche. And I've been through this because I've onboarded plenty of drivers, lease operators. I've talked with so many owner operators, myself, personally. And I'll ask them a simple question. Now, they got a flatbed trailer now, step deck, or flatbed, or RGN. And I'll say, hey, we going over all the things like, hey, what do you want to run? We asked all these questions. and I'll get to this one question, and I promise you, this happens all the time. What size tarps you have? And they'll say, I don't have any tarps. I'm like, oh, okay, will you tarp? They will, man, they hesitate, and they're like, you know what I mean? I don't want to tarp. Or, if I just have to, I will. And it's like, what? You the one who got a open deck trailer. Why would you get an open deck trailer if you don't want to tarp? Why not get a dry van or a reefer? Like, that's like saying, you know, I'm gonna get a dry van, but like, you don't want to sweep the back of the trailer out. And it's like, what do you mean? You're driving trucks, you're driving a dry van. You gotta do that, right? Or when they nail something to the bottom of the floor in a dry van, you don't want to take the nails up. It's like, come on, it's part of the game. Like that, you picked that, right? So like, you don't want to tarp, then maybe you shouldn't get on the flatbed of the step deck, right? Can you run without tarping? Yes, you can, but will that limit the amount of money you make? Yes. Did you get into this to make money and make big money or not? Like, come on now, like, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, be careful with this when you're going to look at what type of trailer you're going to get, right? If you're looking to get an RGN, hey man, guess what? That's a different game, you know what I mean? Do you want to deal with permits? Are you able to sit 1 or 2 days because they don't have any loads or good loads? Are you willing to do that? Or are you like, still stuck in the flatbed mind? Maybe you're coming from flatbed or something, or maybe you're coming from dry van or whatever, right? And if you came from dry van and jumped straight on RGN, good luck to you. But not saying it's not possible or anything for to be successful, it just might be a little harder, right? So you're used to ripping and running. So when you get on the RGN, you think it's the same way. It's just a fast-paced rip and run, and it's not like that. You get what I'm saying? So you got to slow down a little bit, right? So, but go into it understanding that there is a difference, and do your research before you even get into it, right? All right, cool. So, right, reason 3, bad dispatching, okay? This is big. Either you are dispatching yourself or you just got a bad dispatcher, right? They don't know how to negotiate loads. They don't know how to coordinate. They don't know what they're looking at. Maybe they're used to dispatching dry van freight, and then they come over here to the open deck world and it's totally different. And they want to apply the same thing that they've done in the dry van freight and want to do it in the open deck freight. And some of it works because some of it is universal, but a lot of it don't work because it's just not the same, right? And the dispatchers, they just don't know what they're doing, right? Maybe you, owner operator or small fleet owner, you're trying to dispatch your own trucks, and you're not that good at dispatching. I'm talking about actually dispatching, not just like, hey, give me this load, and then we book the load, and then that's it. I'm talking about like for real. Really know what you're doing. Know what loads you're looking at. Knowing what's the best load, what's gonna be as profitable, right? Having your spreadsheets, having, you know, your tools to help you calculate your weekly load, so at the end of the week, all of the loads adds up and you make money. Right? Coordinating right, talking with the shippers and receivers, and understanding what time the load picks up, what times it deliver, things like that. Not making major mistakes and going to the shipper and you get there and it's like, oh, this is not what I booked. But then you look at the rate con, it's like right there, biggest cuff on the rate con, that this is the load that you booked, and now you got to turn down a load. You might have lost the date, right? So either you're dispatching yourself and you're messing up and you're not that good, and if that's the case, and you need to learn how to dispatch open deck freight, definitely hit the link below. Got something for you right there. I can help you with that. Got some training modules. Me and the community, we meet up once a week, so you can ask any question you want with that. So I can definitely help you with that, right? Been doing this a long time and still learning, but pretty good at what I do. Not bragging or anything like that, just keeping it real, right? Very confident. So dispatching, yeah, either get better at dispatching yourself, right? So you know what you're doing and you can make you some real money, or you need to hire a dispatcher. Maybe you can work with me, right? Maybe you can work with me and my team, right? Because it's a team of us over here. We'll be glad to take care of you. Or guess what? You don't have to work with us. You don't have to even join the program. Look on YouTube, learn some things, watch my videos or watch somebody else's videos, learn some stuff, and just get better at dispatching, right? Or hire you a new dispatcher, right? Or just, if you don't want to get great at dispatching, just get you a good dispatcher, right? Make sure the rates are fair based off the value that that dispatcher is going to bring to you, and, you know, make you some money, right? Get rid of that dispatcher problem that you have, right? All right, so now we're going to go into reason 4, right? Remember, all of these reasons are why you're not successful as an owner-operator, right? You're going through it, I promise you. But if you fix these things, I promise you, man, you will start getting a lot better. I promise you. You will start having way more profits. You will start making more money. And then if you have profits, remember, if a business, any business, it doesn't matter. If a business does not have profits, they're going out of business, period. Unless you just got a lot of money sitting in the bank somewhere that's able to feed that business, all right? It has to be profit, right? It's kind of like, think of your business as like, you know, a child, okay? And if your child doesn't have anything to eat, if it doesn't have food and water, then eventually your child's gonna get sick and then die. Same thing with the business, okay? You gotta feed it. It has to have profit. And then you need to make money to take care of yourself too. So reason 4 is not charging enough or overcharging. All right, what do I mean by that? You're getting loads that just don't pay enough. And you might be looking at the gross pay of the load, if it's oversized or something, but then after permits, after escorts, maybe you needed extra insurance, stuff like that. Maybe it went up in the mountains and you burned extra fuel. Maybe you went a long way and it took up 3, 4, 5 days of your time, and the profit after the load just wasn't what you thought it was gonna be. So guess what? You didn't charge enough. You didn't get enough for the load, right? You didn't get enough for the load. So you need to stop doing that, right? Once again, you need to learn how to charge, which I commend you on doing the work, because that's how you will learn, by doing it and constantly doing it over and over and over again. But you gotta, you know, just lower your risk. Lower your risk, go up on knowing more so you can be more successful when you do these things, and you won't run so much of a risk behind going bankrupt, right? Constantly talk about bankrupt because, once again, I've done it and it was very painful for me. So underbidding on loads, and now you're stuck with the load, and now you got to run the load, right? Not accounting for permits, escorts, maybe tarping, stuff like that, or just watching YouTube or social media and just looking at what everybody else charge, and then it's kind of like, well, I'm gonna charge the same thing, but you really don't have a real basis of why you're charging the way that you're charging. First, you need to know your cost per mile, period. And if you're a freight dispatcher out there and you're watching this and you're onboarding carriers, and that's not one of the first things, right? Out of the first 2 things that you ask your own operator, maybe 3 in the onboarding process, is you should be asking them, what is your cost per mile? You should not be dispatching them. You should not be moving forward with looking for loads if you do not know what their cost per mile is. And if you're an operator and you don't know what your cost per mile per truck, right, to run that truck, you need to pause the video right now, stop so you can remember this, and figure out what's your cost per mile. I have a video on my channel, maybe I'll link that below as well, to show you how to calculate your cost per mile. And in my school group, I have a spreadsheet and also a online system that I show you how to calculate this as well, and how to keep track of your loads, load by load. All you gotta do is enter the information on the spreadsheet or in the system about the load, and it's gonna calculate everything for you. You don't have to do nothing. You don't know how to have to do math, like seriously. All you gotta do is just type it in. When you type it in, it's gonna automatically populate and calculate and tell you, hey, your cost per mile is this. This is your rate per mile for the whole week of what you've been running. And this is what you got left over after your lease fee, after your truck note, all this type of stuff, right? So you can learn how to do all this right in the school community. So once again, if you need some help, join that, right? Also, not only not charging enough, but overcharging. Man, you just said you're not charging enough. I did, but at the same time, a lot of people, they overcharge. They overshoot the market, right? Well, why? Same reasons. You're not keeping track of data. You're just not keeping track. You don't understand that you're in New Mexico and you got a flatbed, 53-foot flatbed. You're in, somewhere in New Mexico, Arizona somewhere, and you're trying to get the same rate for a load out of there that you're getting out of Birmingham, Alabama. That's not how they go. You can't get the same rate that you're getting out of Birmingham, Alabama, that you're surrounded by steel everywhere, right? And they have more loads than trucks in Birmingham, Alabama. And that naturally makes all of the other loads in that area go up as well, because the chances of an owner-operator or truck taking a rate that's lower in that area is very, very low, because they have so many other loads they can pick from. If you don't want to pay the rate that they want, they're just like, you know what, I'm just going to take another load. I really didn't want that tarp lumber or tarp coil or tarp steel, but I mean, you got this oversized, man. You're not really paying that much on it. Like, forget you, I'm going to take this load, right? So guess what? What that does is that makes the rates for the loads in that area go up. But over there in Arizona, where you was at, or in New Mexico, they know that you don't really have many options. That's why when you call them about the load, they're like, hey, look, rate is firm. You want it or you don't? You didn't listen to somebody you didn't went in the Facebook group with truckers, right, with owner operators, and maybe you posted your load before, or you're looking at other people post their loads or whatever, and they're like bashing, saying, oh man, that's a garbage rate for that load, or you're not charging enough, or whatever, right? Let me tell you something. Don't listen to these people, all right? I promise you. Now, they have just a little amount of people, owner operators, that's gonna keep it real and give you some honest, good advice in those Facebook groups, but most of them are not. Think of it like this. If they really was running a real business and doing good with their business, they would be busy. They would not be Twitter fingers on the phone commenting on every single post and just bashing other drivers and just talking crazy. So big advice, stay out of the groups. I mean, I used to go in them. I might go in them every now and then. Even now, if you're gonna go in them, probably don't even say anything. Just go read comments, and whatever you can glean and learn from the comments and stuff, just learn and kind of let that be that, right? But don't overshoot the market, man. No, stay in tune with the market, right? Feel the pulse of the market. Understand what's going on this week versus the week before, this month versus the month before, this quarter versus the quarter before, right? Things change. Even if you got direct shippers, right? Because I hear everybody talk about the load boards and man, listen, it doesn't matter. Load boards, direct shippers. Listen, most of the people that's in this industry, if they don't have like a 50 truck, 100 truck fleet, they're not signing actual locked in guarantee rate not to change contracts. It's not what's happening. They're signing a contract stating that, hey, we're gonna give you some freight. This is what we're gonna give it to you at. And then that's that. But guess what? At any point in time, the shipper can say, hey, look, guess what? Oh, the economy's this. We're going down on our rates. That's it. They have ways of changing the rate. They can do that. So don't get all crazy about that. So, there's money on the load boards, but there's also money in direct freight. You should have both. Leverage both, okay? That was reason 4, not charging enough or overcharging, all right? Reason 5, which is a big reason, poor maintenance, all right? Or no maintenance at all, right? Just not taking care of your equipment like you should. And it's not really about having a lot of money to take care of the equipment. You're just not doing it. You're not putting in the work, or you're just leaving it to someone else, right? You're just running the dog crap out the truck and the trailer, and you're just not putting money back until you're not fixing it back up, right? No emergency fund for maintenance. Just one breakdown away from going out of business, right? I see a lot of owner operators do this, and some of my drivers do this, and I get on them all the time, and it's a fight. But one of the main things is, over the weekend, especially when they go home, and mostly all truck drivers do this, I don't care. For some reason, in their mind, I'm off, right? So now that I'm off, I don't do anything with the business. Man, listen, that's when you do it. You don't want to go to work and like, oh, I'm going to do this maintenance when I get back on the road. Why would you do that? Even if you're a driver and you drive for someone. If you're over the road and that, you're running in the truck or whatever, why would you do that? That's not smart, right? You can't maximize the money that you're gonna make in a week by taking some of the time in the week to do maintenance. You do maintenance on your 34. I know a lot of people are gonna say, man, that's my time off, that's my 34. Well, you're right. But why would you do it during the week when you're also trying to pull loads during the week, right? And when I say 34, I'm not saying like on your 34-hour break, but if you can get it done, if you come in on a Friday morning or Friday evening, jump up on I keep the Shabbat, so I try my best not to work on the weekend, on the Shabbat, on a Saturday, not the weekend, on a Saturday, because at the time of recording this video, it's Sunday and I'm working. This is work for me. So I try not to work on a Shabbat, which is the 7th day, which is Saturday. But if I have to, no difference than when Christ said, hey, who would not take their donkey out the hole? If the donkey fall in the hole, will you not get your donkey out the hole? Yes, you will. All right, so guess what? I will get my truck out the hole. If something emergency or something serious happens, I will rescue my truck. Why? Because the truck is my livelihood. That's how I take care of my family and I pay my bills and I can eat, right? So if I have to work on a Shabbat and do something like that, I will. But nevertheless, Saturday evening to the next Friday evening, I'm at it. I'm working. I'm getting it, right? And I work from like 3, 4 in the morning to about 9, 10 o'clock at night, which most people are not doing. But on a Sunday, when I was driving, I would jump up on Sunday. I'll get in touch with all my mechanics, and I'm rolling, man. I'm rolling. Yes, it's my hometown, but guess what? I'm spending time with my son, and I'm going to get the truck fixed. I'm spending time with my wife, and I'm going to get the truck fixed. So whatever it is that I'm doing, like if you're an operator, small fleet owner, whatever, you decided to start a business. That's what you decided. So you got to do whatever you got to do to run your business and for it to be successful, if you want it to be successful, right? So let's move on to reason 6, okay? This is a big one. Personal spending habits. Not managing your personal funds as best as possible. Listen, I think I got it down to, I love data. I just love data and numbers and keeping track of stuff, whatever. I'm anywhere between $15 and $22 a day for food. I know some of y'all gonna be like, what? Are you keeping track of this and that? Yes, keeping track of it, for real. And I go way deeper than that, just the money or whatever. I'm looking at my health and what am I eating and whatever. So don't get it confused. I get the best of the best and I'm not eating trash. I know you can look at me and see how good I look for my age. But spending so much money on stuff that just doesn't matter, it will not move the needle in your business at all, and you're just blowing away resources, especially if you're new, especially if you're just starting out. You need to save all of the money that you can, right? Maybe you want to look rich, and instead of actually focusing on being rich, right? Like, I have a goal to be rich, right? I do all right now, but nowhere near where I want to be. Not even when it comes to actual numbers and money. Nowhere near, right, where I want to be. So I got to keep track. I keep a tally on everything, and I make sure that I'm not throwing away resources, because I used to do that. I used to go to the strip club and just throw away money. That's all it is, just throwing it away. I used to have a bunch of motorcycles, a bunch of cars, trucks, and go on vacations, like all the time. I used to turn up, go to clubs. I used to just do a bunch of stuff. And I used to just throw away money, just throw it away. And I know so many men, that women too, but I know mostly men, they start this business, they're in this business, and they throw away money. Whether it's on the new Jordans, whether it's on the new game, whether it's, I'm talking about the game system like the PS5, whatever that is, the Xboxes and all that, whether it's the vacations, it could be drugs, maybe you smoke too much weed. Man, I know a dude that was smoking, man. And yeah, he was a truck driver, owner operator, he's keeping it real. He knows how to move around that and get around that so he doesn't get caught. But he was smoking like $70 to $100 and some dollars a week on weed, on dope. If you do $70 a week times 4 weeks, right? That's $280, right? 714, that's $280, right? I am right about, yeah, $280. Man, that's $280 could have went on just buying stocks, right? Or saving up for a house. You know what I mean? I mean, you get the first time home buys thing for 3% down. And you know, if you're doing, that's $280 a week. Well, in a month, that's $2,800 in 10 months. Plus another $280, what that is, that's 4, that's 60, that's 560. So that's 910, I think that's $3,360 or something in a year. Just off of stop smoking. That's $3,360 in a year. Just not smoking weed for this dude. And he could have went like, put money down on a house. Real talk, right? Just by saving $70 a week. Or maybe that could have been his down payment on another truck or something. Whatever, right? You get the point. Stop blowing your money, man. Stop blowing your money. You don't need the new clothes and the new shoes and stuff. Your business. Go invest in some assets that will take care of and bring you money to pay for your liabilities, right? Like this camera that I'm talking on, right? I think the kit was like $750 for everything. Well, it wasn't hard for me to invest in that. Why? Because I can shoot YouTube videos. YouTube's gonna help me make money some way, somehow, eventually, right? I don't get paid for them now, but something is gonna bring some type of value. Maybe a driver will watch this and call me up. They have in the past, and like they still do, and say, hey man, watch your videos. I would like to come drive one of your trucks, or hey, I would like to lease on to your company, or hey, I want to do a consult, or whatever, right? So guess what? Now this camera has paid for itself. When I first started out, I did it on my phone, but camera paid for itself. You know, invest in stuff like that, right? Especially if you're a truck driver, like go buy you some cameras and start a YouTube channel. People want to see that. They want to look at, you know, you hauling freight, and they want to hear what you have to talk about. They want to watch your videos and stuff like that, right? Don't go buy the new Jordans, right? You know, and stuff like that. I'm not gonna really go too deep into how telling you how to spend your money because you're an adult, but like, just gain control of that, right? Gain control of this personal finance. All right. Reason 7, and this is going to be the last reason, right? You have no mentorship and no support system. You're not around people who actually do this. They're successful at this or want to do this to help, you know, with camaraderie or help you on your mission of doing this, right? So with all alone and you're by yourself. You don't have no mentorship. You can't call no one. You can't talk to someone to just answer some questions to help you be successful at the thing that you want to do, right? You're going at it alone and you're by yourself, right? I know how that feels because I've done that. You get what I'm saying? You know, you're trying to learn everything on your own, which is the hardest way. Hey, listen, big ups to you for doing that and trying that, but that's not the smartest way, right? I've done it and it feels good when you're doing it and you know, you're like, yeah, I'm doing this and I'm doing my thing. But guess what? It's not the best way. It's not the smartest way, right? Going into it alone, right? You know, you need some type of mentorship. Can it be done without mentorship? Yes. Probably would take longer. Probably would be harder. Probably would make more mistakes instead of you skipping the line, right, in front of everybody else who don't have a mentor, right? You know, you don't have a tribe. You're not a part of a tribe or anything like that. So with that being said, you know, whether it's me or whether it's someone else or virtual mentorship, maybe you don't have the money right now to invest in a mentorship, right? Which you should. You got to do is just go sell those Jordans or bring those Jordans back to the store, or not go on that vacation this year, or stop going out to eat every week to your favorite restaurant and maybe eat Chipotle, or I love Chipotle, by the way, or just change some things, right? And then bam, out of nowhere, the money just come like that, right? So let's wrap it up, right? Recap. Get you a plan. Write it down, write the vision down, know your cost for everything. When I say cost, not just money, know what you're gonna have to sacrifice to get what you want. So make your plan accordingly, right? Don't go getting your open deck trailers knowing that you don't wanna work in the heat and you don't wanna tarp or whatever like that, right? Get real support. If you will invest in a dispatcher, get your real one. Get you someone that's gonna actually, or a team of dispatchers that's gonna actually help you and like understand the business so you can make profit. Go back to knowing your costs. Write it down, calculate it, you know, figure out what your cost per mile or what your cost per mile will be. And please, please, please figure that out. Do not jump into the business and you don't have these things figure it out and fix these things. With that being said, check this out. Listen, I have a school group. It's called, I just changed the name of it. Basically, it's called Owner Operator University, right? It's basically for owner operators and, freight dispatchers as well, because if a freight dispatcher can learn all of these things, they can help an owner operator. They will be more of an asset to an operator, right? Especially if I had someone like that, I hire him like that right now. And fleet owners as well that's looking to learn how to get free of the business and scale their business, stuff like that. So if you're serious about being a successful owner operator, right? You really want to make a profit. You really want to, have a real business and not just drive a truck and make some money here and there. You really want to grow your business, right? You want to make it through this hard turn, this hard curve in the market right now. You want to be here for when the market flip around and make great money. You want to position yourself to really be successful in this. Listen, hit the link down below, book a call with me. Maybe we can chop it up, see where you specifically need help at when it comes down to maybe you need help with dispatching and you need to lease on with us, or maybe you want the DIY package and join the school group and watch the modules and get access to all of the spreadsheets and the software and learn how to actually run your trucking company, right? And be successful at it, right? If that's the case, all links will be down below. And until the next video, I will see you next time. Shalom, shalom. Peace, peace.